Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new video. So today I am recreating yet again another viral makeup look. Today we are doing Miss Chanel Sorel's, I believe, Baddie Glam on a budget. So she has two videos, her original one that went absolutely viral, and then her second one, which is Baddie Glam, but it's affordable. She uses all affordable makeup. We have Maybelline, we have L'Oreal, we have Juvia's Place, we have e.l.f, Milani, a little bit of everything, and this is the look. I mean, who is she? Where is she going? Because I need to know where I'm gonna go looking like a baddie like this, okay? Because I have absolutely no plans. I love the way this turned out. I followed every single step and I'm gonna show you exactly what she did and we're gonna do it together. So grab your brushes, grab your cafecito, and if you wanna learn how to look like a baddie on a budget, then just keep on watching. I did my brows off camera. The first step that she does after doing her brows is carving them out.
A nice base for our eyeshadow. And I take a fluffier brush and just blend that all the way down onto the lid.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and carve out the brow. She uses the Milani Conceal and Perfect concealer. I picked this up because I didn't have it. I haven't owned it in a very long time. I'm gonna take that underneath the brow bone. I picked up the shade 135 and I'm gonna carve them out and bring it down to my lids just like she does. I'm going to use my concealer brush to bring down the product down to the lids and blend it out. Then she goes in with a pressed powder. She uses the Fit Me, what is this, the Matte and Poreless powder. I swear this used to be like my everyday powder. I used to set with this, bake with this. It was just the girl. I do think though that I should have picked up a little bit of a darker shade, but that's okay. She then goes into her Juvia's Place bronzer, which is like my favorite drugstore bronzer. Mine is in the shade medium, and she goes in with this shade and she applies it all over her crease, which is technically the same routine that I just did in my last video, where I tend to use my bronzers a lot as a transitional shade because bronzers are a lot creamier than your typical eyeshadow formula. It tends to just be very buttery and soft, and like she says, they're very forgiving, so you can easily work them into your crease. So I'm gonna go ahead and just work that in here. And then I'm going to bring it down a little bit. She then goes into the Morphe Flickering Sands palette, which thankfully I had already. She goes into this shade right here. I also wanted to quickly mention, because if you want to recreate this look and you feel like you have to go get this palette, please don't. Use what you have. But if you want something slightly similar but way more affordable, just go for the Nudes palette from Profusion. They have right about the same shades and it's literally only $5. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm going to take this shade, which is a nice like orangey shade, and she throws it into her crease and just slowly builds up the color. And when she gets here, she flicks it up like this, so that's going to create that illusion of like a lifted eye, which I love. She then taps into this shade and lays it all over the lid. This color is so pretty and they're so pigmented, so a little definitely goes a long way. I'm just going to tap it in, bring it in. She already has lashes like on. When she starts her videos, she looks like she has like lash extensions. So I will probably just add similar lashes to what she's wearing, or just add whatever lashes or no lashes if you want. And then she goes back with her brush and then just softly diffuses the edges just like this and bringing it in just like that. She then goes in with a Morphe eyeliner. I couldn't find one or the liner at my local Ulta, so I'm just going to use this ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner in the shade Brouhaha. This is old and it's hanging on by dear life, but she just does the smallest wing and then she uses the shadow, or I use the shadow. She also says you can use an eyeshadow. I use the same eyeshadow palette, the Morphe one. I just use that dark brown to kind of like make it soft, because again, this is a soft glam. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to pop on some lashes. Chose these like fluffy lashes. I don't know, but I think they look really cute. What do you guys think? Okay, let's move on to the face. She goes in with the Milani Conceal and Perfect Primer, which is my holy grail drugstore primer. As you can see, I've definitely hit pan on this, even though I haven't been wearing primer. But today we're following a tutorial, so we're gonna do exactly that, and we're going to take that in all the areas where we just want to smooth out the skin and really blur it out. This product is great because not only is it affordable, not only is it a dupe for the Huda Beauty blurring primer, but it really does blur out the skin so nicely. She then goes in with the Maybelline Super Stay Lumi-Matte foundation. I am in the shade 220. She uses a brush and then she goes back and blends everything with a sponge, which I love that. I haven't been using brushes lately. I've mainly been using my sponge, but we're gonna switch it up. So I'm gonna start by buffing this into the skin. This foundation was like my absolute favorite as well when it first launched, and now I'm like, forgot about it. That happens all the time though. Like when you are constantly reviewing new makeup, like it's only natural that you're going to be bouncing from one foundation to another, but this is a good one. It's a good product and I definitely don't regret purchasing it. I do wish I would have gotten maybe a shade darker, especially for the summer. Honestly, these two together are so fire. The primer just really smoothed out my skin, and then this foundation, because it does have that Lumi-Matte finish, it just looks really pretty. My hair looks crazy. Taking a sponge and just blended everything into the skin. Honestly, I forgot how good this foundation looks on the skin. Okay, next she uses the e.l.f. bronzer. I'm using the shade medium. I love that she uses everything, mostly everything on the back of her hand. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to apply the bronzer on the back of my hand. I only do this when I do makeup on clients, but if I'm doing it on myself, obviously I use the product directly. And then I'm going to go in with a stippling bronzing brush. This is the Morphe M242 cream and liquid bronzer. And I'm going to load up my brush, something like this. And I'm going to take that all over my forehead. She kind of goes a little heavy hand with her bronzer, so I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start off here and then take it all around. Even though these are pretty pigmented, again, it looks like she goes a little heavier hand with her bronzer, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Again, bringing that around, and I think she says she kind of like brings it in to connect with her bronzer on her eyes, and then she also brings it to her jawline, which I always do this anyways because I feel like it really just balances out everything, versus if you have so much bronziness here and nothing here. It looks weird to me, but it could be just me that I'm used to always having like bronzer on my jawline. I don't know. Then she goes in with the e.l.f. Pinky Promise blush. I've actually never used this. I didn't even own it. I had to go out and buy it. And she goes pretty heavy hand with the blush. I thought I used a lot of blush. She uses quite a bit, but she totally rocks it. I don't know that I can rock that much blush. We'll see. Ah, I'm nervous. She also takes that on the back of her hand. These are so pigmented. Oh my gosh. She says, don't look at that. She says, don't be afraid to bring this underneath your eye. So we're going to do just that. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Obviously her face shape is very different from mine, so blush placement will depend, but I do typically put my blush up this high. So it looks a little crazy, but I hope this all looks good at the end because she looks really amazing right now. Look at that, like her blush is beautiful. Okay, she then goes in with the Morphe Wake Up Artist Concealer. I'm using the shade Sand W5. And I'm going to bring this to the areas where I want to highlight, so right here. Then she goes in with the brush and kind of starts blending the concealer out. She kind of like brings it in. And then she goes in with a Real Techniques brush and further blends out that concealer, which I love that. These concealers from Real Techniques are so beautiful. And they make blending so easy. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that in. Going back with my blush brush, whatever I have on, I'm just tapping it over to blend it out with the concealer. And then she goes back into her Milani concealer and she adds a little bit into her inner corners right here to add a touch of brightness. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then again, I'm going to blend it out. She said she uses the L'Oreal Infallible Blur-Fection, which is honestly becoming like one of my favorite drugstore powders. I know I didn't really like it at the beginning, but now I do. And I picked up the shade Pink because that's what she uses. And I'm going to take that on my Morphe sponge and I'm going to tap off the excess. And then I'm going to press it in. And because it is a pink powder, it has those pink undertones, it's really going to look so pretty with that pink blush. So I'm just going to press that in. Oh my gosh, this already looks so good. Ah! And then she goes back with her Maybelline powder. Again, this is a shade 220 and she just kind of like sets the rest of her face. So I'm just going to lightly use this to set everything else just because I don't want this to make my foundation lighter than it probably is. I'm going to set the forehead. That's the area that I tend to get pretty oily. So just going to set it there and then down the nose. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this glam already. Then of course we're going to go back to the bronzer and just bronze up the face. She does, it looks like she cut out that part of the video for some reason. Maybe she didn't mean to, but she says that she goes back with the bronzer. She uses a blush. I don't have that and I don't know where I could find it, so I just use what I have. This is from the Care Bears and the She Glam collection. It's like a soft pink almost, and she uses that like at the very highest points of her cheekbone, just like that. And I'm gonna even that out. That's actually a really pretty color of blush. I do use it, but I don't use it as often, but it's cute. Then she goes in with a second blush, the Morphe Apres-Ski. These are the cheek thrillers or cheek thrills, and she goes in with this one, which is the matte blush, and she takes it right here, so like right beneath the first one. And I'm gonna take a little bit more. She also takes it on her nose. She puts a little bit on her shin on her forehead. And then she says that she adds a little bit into her crease. It doesn't show it in the video, but I'm going to do that since she says she adds it. So I'm going to go ahead and just add like a tiny bit because you can't see a lot of pink in her crease. So I'm guessing she just adds a tiny bit just to make everything like cohesive, which totally makes sense, honestly. That's pretty. I did my lip combo off camera. I used the e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liner. She uses Espresso Martini, but it's a little too cool tone for me, so I mixed it with dark cocoa, I think it's the shade. And then she also uses the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Gummy Bear, which is this one right here, and it gives you a beautiful pink. But this doesn't show too much pink, so all I did is I added a little bit of the Morphe cream little thing, tapped it into the center, and that is it. Oh my gosh, this blush is like a little insane for me, but it looks pretty. Then she melts all the powders together using the Morphe Continuous Prep and Mist. So I'm gonna do that, just melt all the powders so it feels and looks better. And then once that fully dries down, then she goes with the L'Oreal Infallible Setting Mist, which is like everyone's favorite. I swear I see this in everybody's like drugstore makeup routine because she's that girl. And that concludes today's tutorial. Oh my gosh, thank you, Chanel. I totally feel like a baddie, and I love everything. The cheeks are cheekin'. The eyes are subtle, but so beautiful. The lips, the skin. I love that everything is drugstore. I also hope that you feel like a baddie with everything we use today. I would love to know if you're going to recreate this, and if you do, tag me. The cheeks are just absolutely gorgeous. Like, I cannot get over how beautiful they are. I'm obsessed. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Stay safe, and until next time, I will see you all in my next video. Bye!